They say that the number one thing for healthy aging is camaraderie, new friendships, and new experiences. That's what keeps your mind engaged as you age. And it's very difficult if you just sit in your home and do your daily routine after you retire to get that type of thing. And these trips offer that. We offer new friendships, new exposure, new excitement. It's so important to stay engaged as you age. And I'm a firm believer. It's helped me. It's helped numerous people that I see travel with us.
There are opportunities for our work and careers everywhere, if you know where to look. That's easier said than done, especially in our fast-paced and constantly changing world. Mary Ann Faremouth is talking to experts, employers, and job seekers to bring you insight and understanding about what's possible. This is Career Can Do, where we're navigating the new work world.
Welcome to the Career Can Do podcast, a top global podcast dedicated to helping you navigate the new work world and beyond. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth. I'll be your host for this episode. And today I'm just delighted to have a guest on my show that I have the highest regard for. Cindy Peck is I would say, top organizer of an amazing travel group called Traveling Texans that I myself am a member of and have experienced. So many studies today by Harvard Business Review, Forbes, Wall Street Journal are all talking about the benefits of travel and how travel can make us even more productive in the work world. For example, a Harvard Business Review says travel benefits employees in 3 ways: mentally, boosts creativity; body, less prone to getting sick; soul, answers the big questions. What do I really want in my life? So after that incredibly long introduction, without further ado, help me welcome Cindy Peck. Cindy, say hello to everybody.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your show today, your podcast. It's awesome. I'm excited to be here.
Well, Cindy, I am so thrilled to have you, and I know you're always so busy, and I truly appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. But as I mentioned, I took a trip in October with Traveling Texans. It was a 13-day cruise from Venice to Rome, and I got so much out of that trip. I met wonderful people that'll be lifelong friends. I published a 3rd book from some of the information and research I gained, and I relaxed. And I think more and more these days, with so much burnout in the workforce and so much stress, this is something people need to know about. So tell us about how you got into this and you got Traveling Texans started.
Okay, Mary Ann, thank you. I have been a travel agent for about 15 years, and I started doing hosted group trips for mainly people over the age of 50 early on because I had a burning desire to see the world. I had raised 4 children, put them all through college, and by the time the last one was done, I'm like, okay, it's my turn to do some things for myself. And I started escorting these tours and taking these people on these trips, and I got so much enjoyment and so much satisfaction out of it, and so much accolades from them saying, I would never have been able to take this trip if you had not suggested it, hosted it, put it together, because I wouldn't know how to do that. And I got the idea, you know what, if there's a small group of people that want to do that, there's got to be a large group of people too. I saw the benefits of what happened to them after these tours, going home, the excitement, the planning, the anticipation, and how excited they got and what it brought to their lives. And I said, you know what, I'm going to expose a lot more people to this.
Yeah. Well, you had a magnificent idea because I just read the other day in Forbes, talked about some of the benefits of taking a trip or travel. You learn valuable communication skills. You rest your brain, which fosters creativity. You build connections around the world. You build cultural competency and become a better leader. And you impress potential employers. Right now, post-COVID, as an executive recruiter, Cindy, I will tell you, interviewing is critical. And people are looking for different things now that maybe they did look for pre-COVID. And having more interest, being more travel, being a person of experiences that you can bring and share with others, I think is really on point. Tell me, too, we talked earlier in the Blue Room about how you had talked to some single ladies that didn't want to travel alone, and talk a little bit about how you kind of use that as fuel to do this as well.
Well, after I took a couple of these trips, the first one was with my grandmother who had never been out of the country. And I took her and a group of friends to Italy. And to see what happened to that group of little ladies who had never even had a passport to go somewhere like that, it honestly excited them so much that they were more lively. They were started exercising, walking, because I told them, hey, we're going to be walking a lot. You need to get out there. And then coming home and having that cultural exposure to a whole nother culture that they've never had been exposed to. It excited me to see what it did for my own grandmother and how much lot more lively she was after that tour. So I started putting these tours out. I started a Facebook group. I started putting these tours out and matching up people. I think that's important. A lot of these ladies are single. They don't have anybody to travel with. So we do match roommates so they don't have to pay the solo supplement if they don't want to. And just watching how that affected their lives. Exposure to new cultures, it changes you, changes your perspectives, opens up your whole points of view. There's so much. It's hard for me to, and I get so excited about it.
And, on that 13-day cruise that I went on, Cindy, the networking that went on there, I met people there on that cruise that were other professionals. All right. And a couple of them were looking for jobs. Okay. And so there was networking that went on too. And I met, one woman from Michigan. I'm from Michigan. I mean, I live in Houston now, but, she went to my cousin's bakery for the longest time. So you just never know who you're going to meet on these trips. I met people that, as I said, will be lifelong friends. I know. And,
absolutely.
I have to tell you a funny story. I had a candidate once go into an interview. He didn't have exact experience. He had related experience. And when he interviewed, the vice president had a picture on his wall, and it was a picture of Paris. And he said, oh my gosh, that's Paris. Have you been there? He said, oh, yes. And he said, oh, I've been there too. And they start talking about Paris. And they had a mutual love of Paris. And he called me back. He said, you know what, Mary, doesn't have everything I need, but this guy, he's been traveling, he's well-traveled, he's interesting. I think this guy's got some stuff to bring to our company. So you never know what's going to come from taking a trip.
I could tell you multiple stories about connections and people that, know each other through someone. It's unbelievable to me that the connections that are made and then the friendships that are formed from these trips that last and then they start traveling together later. It's truly amazing.
It is. And also your Traveling Texans group is so well organized. I was so impressed.
Thank you.
Right?
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work. I mean, you guys do a lot of work. And the excursions were organized. There wasn't a lot of challenges. I mean, I've taken cruising before and you get mixed up. And I almost missed getting on the boat one time. My son always wants to remind me of that. But being with a group like this, quality people, so well organized, right? And the ship, we were on Norwegian. It was great. I had a balcony room. The food was good. It was just amazing. I cannot wait to take another trip. Now, I'm talking about cruises, but you also have other kinds of trips we talked about too.
Yes, we do.
Tell me a little bit about those.
I just got back from a 3-week Singapore, Thailand land tour with 35 of our Traveling Texans. We do smaller groups on those land tours because they're easier to maneuver and navigate. The bonding that goes on in those, we're all great friends. They've taken multiple trips with me, South Africa, Croatia. We chartered a yacht in Croatia last year. There's always new people that come to the group, but we do have quite a few repeaters. And now they're some of our best friends. And I feel very blessed about that because a lot of my friends didn't or couldn't travel. And I really had this burning desire to see the world and be exposed to all of these different cultures. And now I have all these brand new friends that love to do the same thing that I do. And these land tours are very good bonding experiences. The cruises are fun. They're great. There's a lot more people, bigger groups. We do group dinners, group excursions. So we do try to stimulate as much group participation as possible. But people are going different directions during the day. On the land tours, we're all together for 2 weeks, basically doing the same things with a local guide. And they're amazing. They're one of my favorite types of way to travel. So at some point, you need to try that as well, Mary Ann, and see if you like it as well as the cruises.
I would do. And I've got a few places on my bucket list that I'd love to go to. And, one thing we talked about earlier too in the Blue Room is that Traveling Texans originally was for people 50 and above. But I mentioned to you that, I have a couple sons and I might want to bring them with me on my trip. And you said, Yes, it's
Absolutely.
50 and above,
We
but you can bring families, right?
Yes, you can. You can bring adult children. We asked that everybody be 18 and over. On our Thailand tour, we did have a 17-year-old, and I talked with him, and just to make sure you want everybody to be mature. And he was great, independent, good kid. We all enjoyed very much having a younger person with us. We don't exclude anybody. And so you're very welcome to bring younger people. We've even had younger people in their 30s and 40s approach me and say, do you mind if we join this trip, and I'm like, well, I don't mind at all, and then they end up very much enjoying, the camaraderie that comes from that. So we do not exclude anybody. We do encourage everybody to travel. It's just that people over 50 usually have a little more time and money to do these trips because people in their younger years are raising their children. So,
Yes.
but we do not exclude anybody.
And the other thing too that I thought was so great about this is it was so cost effective. It was quality. It was top notch. It was, the best food. I want to say I'm Italian. Okay, I'm a foodie, and I love pizza. And the best food I ever had, the best pizza I ever had, was in Monaco, of all places. Okay, which is French, right?
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm also I'm Italian Maltese, and then we went to Malta, but the food, I can't even, I've been on lots of trips. I'm an avid traveler. I love to travel. But this group, in my opinion, has it all. Quality people, organization, top-notch service, great bonding, great networking, people that are, of high caliber, all different kinds of, it just, to me, I want to have her on the show because there's just so much to gain from being a part of this group. And I can't wait to go on the next one.
You said something about the Forbes articles. They say that the number one thing for healthy aging is camaraderie, new friendships, and new experiences. That's what keeps your mind engaged as you age. And it's very difficult if you just sit in your home and do your daily routine after you retire to get that type of thing. And these trips offer that. We offer new friendships, new exposure, new excitement. It's so important to stay engaged as you age. And I'm a firm believer. It's helped me. It's helped numerous people that I see travel with us. I can't say enough good things about traveling with a group, the safety, the price, as you mentioned, the convenience of having somebody else make the arrangements. It's priceless, really is.
Oh, it is. It is. And, to Venice or to Malta or to Croatia, by myself, I was apprehensive. But when you're with a group of people, you feel more secure. You feel more safe. And I came back from this trip so inspired, so rested, so much more creative, having the ability to be creative. All right. And I think I was able to give my clients and my candidates more. So I'm so glad that you came on the show today, Cindy, because I think Career Can Do, yes, it's about career, but Career Can Do is how do we become our best self? How do we become the best version of who we are? And I think it's doing things like this, becoming more informed about other worldly cultures and what people do. I think it's amazing. So as you can tell, I'm real high on this group. I think everyone needs to investigate it. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you or find out about Traveling Texans and the trips you have coming up, Cindy, how do they do that?
We have a Facebook group that's Traveling Texans 50 plus. It's the 50 plus. You can search us on Facebook. My email is travelingtexansover50@gmail.com. So you can approach us that way as well. I can also give you my phone number. I always tell people to call me. I don't want people to, if they have questions, I want them to be able to reach a real person. So I can share my phone number if you'd like.
Well, I'll have all that information on my website, Faremouth.com as well. So if any of you, after hearing this, want to reach out to Cindy, just go to my website. All of that will be on there, Faremouth.com. And the other thing, too, we talked about, the group's called Traveling Texans. But as I mentioned a little earlier on, I met a wonderful lady from Michigan, from Dearborn. So if somebody obviously from another state wants to become a part of this, they can do that, correct?
Absolutely. We have about 15 other states from people inviting them that live in Texas. They've invited them to travel with us from other states. We don't exclude anybody. We even have some people from London that have joined us on some of the trips. So I would say anybody that has the desire to travel in a group environment, we would love to have you.
All right. Well, I will tell you, as I mentioned so many times before, this is a top-notch quality travel group that I will continue to be a part of and continue to take trips with. So please investigate it, because these days, on my side of the desk anyway, I'm hearing both from employers and employees about tremendous burnout, tremendous stress. This is the way to alleviate that. This is the way to stay healthy and grow as an individual. So, Cindy, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. I always like to leave our listeners with two salient points about the podcast. What can you tell us? I know there's a lot here, but if we had to summarize two salient points for Traveling Texans, people to know about.
I would say that the group environment and making new friends is part of healthy aging. That is huge to me. And it's a really great way to do both, be exposed to new cultures and to make new friends. And then just the safety, convenience, pricing of traveling with a group is priceless as well. Those were the 2 points that always stick in my mind that are very important about what we do.
I think you nailed it. Well, you know what, Cindy, I feel so fortunate to know you and to have you on the show. I love this group and I will continue to travel with you. So look this
Thank
up,
you so
Traveling
much.
Texans. We were so thrilled to have her on the show. And again, I'm Mary Ann Faremouth.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're welcome. And we'll see y'all next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. We thank you for tuning in to our Career Can Do podcast. We make no guarantees on results for your particular quest, but we hope you enjoy the information presented. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely that of the guest or speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Mary Ann Faremouth and Faremouth and Company. Thank you.